Welcome to the Tattoo Room Unfiltered. I'm the host with the most, Devon Leroy. Today I have Liz Todorovich with us. She's a financial literacy professional, I like to say. She's very knowledgeable about finances and she loves to help and get people from this point to this point in their finances. So we are looking to make a little bit more money these days. And today we have Liz on here. She's going to help us get to learn some of those. So thanks, Liz, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure. So before we get started, could you just tell us where you were born, what city, what country, state, if anything? Just give us a little brief history of your childhood. How you were
Yes,
raised.
of course. I was born in Romania. It is in Eastern Europe. I was born and raised in Romania. And then in the late 80s, I actually escaped from Romania as a political refugee. I went to Hungary, Budapest. My parents were half-half. My mother was Romanian, my father was Hungarian. I went to Hungary, Budapest. I lived there, and then I came to the States in 1990.
Ah, okay. That's very interesting. You came by yourself or you came
Yes.
with your family?
No, I came by myself.
Well, how old were you when you came to the States?
I came in 1990. I was 24.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
23, sorry.
Yeah,
23.
okay. Because sometimes you hear people coming when they're like 12.
Yes.
11 and stuff like
Yes,
that.
I was
yeah,
23.
You were already older.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they in Romania do they make you learn English?
No.
So did you have to learn when you got here?
Yes. I did not
Oh.
speak language. I did not speak English when I got here.
What? Yeah, you don't have much of an accent.
A little bit is still there, but yeah, most of it is gone. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's
Sure.
pretty good. So how do you think about learning English? Was it fun?
So it was 33 years ago, so
Yeah.
I've kind of forgotten it. But in the beginning, I came, I was sponsored by an uncle of mine who actually passed away. He's not alive anymore.
Yeah, sorry
But
about
he
that.
was my uncle. He lived here. And he helped me come to the States. He didn't have a family per se or married or no children, so, and he was a businessman.
Yeah.
So most of his business associations, they were or Americans, and so he spoke English all day long.
Yeah. Oh,
So
okay.
when I came,
Yeah.
obviously, in the beginning, him and I would speak Hungarian, but during the day, he started talking to me in English because he wanted me to learn.
To learn, yeah. So you get accustomed.
And then about 4 months in, when I was here, I ended up getting a job as a hostess at a Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
And when I got a job as a hostess at a Chinese restaurant, that's when I would have to credit that place where I started picking up most of it. Because in the beginning, they told me all you have to say is, hello, welcome to the place, party of 4, party of 3, party of 2, right? So that's all I had to say. So it wasn't that hard, right?
Yeah.
But then, obviously, over time, I started picking it up. And I also wanted to learn.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn. So I would watch
that's the key
TV, I
part.
would pick up magazines, I started trying to read them. My uncle spoke to me English, and, and then from that day on forward, I just, I always wanted to learn, and I just always worked in places where everybody speaks English, and then I just started to learn,
Yeah, so what brought you to finances? How did you get into that field? Because you got here, I'd like to say, kind of late, 24.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so like what got you into finances?
Yeah. Well, actually, this is only, I've only been in this career or in this industry really for about 6 years now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
So originally my background is the pharmaceutical industry. So I started working at Abbott Laboratories in 1998.
Yeah, I know about Abbott.
Yes, most people do because we're in Lake County, Illinois, and they are one of the largest employers in Lake County.
Yeah.
And I started working at Abbott in the mailroom.
Okay.
Because my English was still very broken. I couldn't really speak English. I didn't have experience. I didn't have an education, no college education or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I started working in the mailroom, and I always tell people at $7.50 an hour.
Whoa.
You know.
We forgot about those numbers in '98.
But I wanted to work for I had a bigger vision, right? So I knew I wanted to work for a company where I can build a career, right?
Yeah, you could definitely do that at Abbott, and they'll help you go to school too.
And they did.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, okay.
So after that, I actually ended up working in their accounting department.
Yeah.
They hired me on, and then from that on, as they say, the rest is history. I built a very successful career in the pharmaceutical industry. In the meantime, they sent me to school. I got a college degree. I got a master's degree, and I.
Yeah, master's in accounting.
no, my master's degree is in global business.
Oh, okay.
Because I ended up working, I got out of finance, so I started out with corporate finance.
Mm-hmm.
What people don't understand that personal finance and corporate finance are two completely different worlds.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
not the same.
Okay.
Sometimes you hear somebody say, yeah, I'm getting a degree in finance. That doesn't tell you much. It doesn't mean anything. All they do is just teach you how to do a profit loss statement for corporation. That you don't know anything about investments, how to build a retirement account, how to build.
Yeah. So
it's
they don't teach you that part in
completely
school?
separate things. Yes.
Yeah.
No. No. So.
Okay.
So I started working in their accounting department, and then I ended up in corporate finance.
Mm-hmm.
But then I eventually did not like it anymore.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
I wanted to go into different areas of the business, and I went into operations,
Mm-hmm.
and I did my rotations, and mainly I worked in supply chain.
Okay.
And I had really amazing assignments, assignment overseas. I was in Amsterdam for a while. I was in Latin America for a while.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went and got my master's degree. And because I did the international arena, I got the master's degree in global business.
Okay, I
So,
got you. Yeah.
And yeah, so that's my career. But about 10 to answer your question, how I got into finance.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, I went through a very painful divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically had to just start rebuilding because I hit rock bottom from every way you can think of.
Yeah.
And one of them was finances, and I was making very good money, multiple six figures, and I was broke.
Oh, yeah. That's not
After
good
my
for them.
divorce.
Yeah.
And I had the two kids. My son was attending college at the time. My ex-husband just up and left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked myself, how does this happen? That I feel like I did all the right things. I raised a family. I went to school. I built a career. I'm making okay money. And one storm comes my way, which was my divorce, and I'm completely, rock bottom. How does it happen?
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn more about. I knew that I had very good professional training, but I knew nothing about money.
Yeah.
Nobody ever taught me about money.
Yeah.
I knew I had.
So you were trying to prevent it from happening.
I was at this point. I was trying to climb out of the hole in which I was in.
Yeah, from
just
the divorce.
climbing out, right?
Yeah.
And so I decided, I took it upon myself that I was going to start researching and I was going to start learning what I have to do, right?
Okay.
And that journey led me to a business partner of mine today who's in the business. And she actually partnered with me on one of my charitable endeavors. So I also started doing a lot of charity work. Yeah. And as I was doing the charity work, I realized that was really my true passion.
Okay, yeah.
And I decided that I was going to start working on my exit strategy from corporate.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to learn entrepreneurship, but I knew nothing about entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So once the one thing led to another. And long story short, as I was learning about finances for myself to fix my own finances, right, I started learning more about the industry, and I realized it's extremely lucrative.
Yes.
You can actually, it's the highest commissions. It's in the financial industry and real estate, right? Everything, every other industry after that, it's less commission or less money, right? So I was like, great, that I need money. I need extra money. Right? And I know a lot of people need it, and I know I can help a lot of people. So I'm like, great, I'm going to get into this industry. And I got into the industry part-time.
Okay. Yeah.
Evenings and weekends. And I started working on my exit strategy because I actually needed more time at that point. I wanted to do more of my charity work, but my corporate life didn't allow me because in corporate, especially when you get to like mid-level management, like you work a lot of hours, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do a different type of life for the rest of my life. I wanted to help people. I wanted to do something that I'm passionate about. I wanted to do, now my children were growing up, they weren't little anymore. I wasn't married at this point, I was single, and I was just like, okay, for the first time in my life, I get to do what I want.
Yeah, it's time to
Not what I have to, but it's time to do what makes me happy, what the difference I make. So I started working on myself also that's when my personal development journey started as well. And I just, as I started developing and evolving more and more, I realized like I actually wanted to dedicate the rest of my life to making a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
one way or the other, or helping people.
Yeah.
And
So, how do you help people with their finances? Like, what do you do to
Sure.
help someone?
So I basically provide at the very ground level, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you will be surprised to know that about 85% of people are paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised to know that people who make $200,000 are broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, like I was saying, this is the other reason why I wanted to do this podcast. Like, especially like my people, people of color in America,
Yeah.
we really don't have much money.
Correct.
And then not even that we don't have much money, but we often spend it foolishly.
Yes.
And so, like, I'm trying to get people educated on, how you can have nice things, but it's like certain steps to get to these things that you have to take first.
Well, again, there is no education of teaching people how to manage money. So
Mm-hmm.
there is really three main factors that is important for us to know. In order to build financial security. And I
Yeah.
call it financial security is because it's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter. Some person wants to make 7 figures. Some person just wants to retire comfortably. Some person
Yeah.
wants to make 8 figures. Some person wants to, it's a millionaire. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever that means for you, right?
Yeah.
And that is the three things that I want to always encourage people to learn about is that number one, we have to know how to make money, right? Learning how to make money.
That's the important part. Yeah, first.
And most people figure it out in one way or another because most people have a job. Whether
Yeah.
they are entrepreneurs or
Yeah.
self-entrepreneurs or businesses or a job, they figure out a way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
But very few people actually focus on learning how to manage it.
Right. That's the next part.
And the
Yeah.
third part, which is even less few, very small percentage of the population learns how to protect it.
Yeah.
And that's the most important component. When wealthy people start building wealth and they have 100 million or 3 million or 5 million, 10 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to build that kind of money. It's not
Yeah.
easy because if it was easy, everybody would do it, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
There's a reason why only 5%, 10% of the population has that kind of wealth.
Yeah.
It's because it's not. It's
No, it's
hard.
extremely hard. Yeah. And
So-
then you have to have this drive to even want it.
Yeah, all those other components, right? So when you do have it, you better believe it. Those people that do have it, they don't play with it. They
No.
actually want to preserve it as much
Yeah.
as possible and protect it.
Yeah.
And then protect it from what? Well, protect it from market loss,
Right.
protect it from economic problems, political problems. We had 9/11 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
We had the pandemic.
Yeah.
Protect it from
Market
those things.
crashes.
Protect market
Yeah.
crashes. Protect it from illness.
Yeah.
Protected from loss of job, loss of income, protected from death. Somebody in the
Yeah.
family dies. All
And
of a
we've had
sudden,
all of those in the last 20 years.
we
so,
did exactly.
Yeah. this
And
has been a real
they're
tough
not
time.
gonna stop. It's part of life.
Yeah.
They're
Would
gonna
you think
happen.
like this much in this like for what you're saying? These are catastrophic things. The pandemic, 9/11, the market crashes.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all back to
Yeah.
back. That kind of messes up everybody's money. So like,
But
you,
here
do
is
you
what I
see
would
that
say.
happening
Here
more?
Here's what I would say: if people learn how to do it properly, then
Mhm.
they would be prepared for the storms.
Right. That's what I said. The same
The
thing.
problem is not the
Get your
storm.
raincoat before the storm comes.
The problem is not
Yeah.
the storms. The storms are gonna happen, and we don't control them.
Yeah.
We have to focus on what we do control.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't do.
Mhm.
People blame the external things. No, sweetheart, you didn't manage your money properly. And
That's
by
true.
the way, I was one of them. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think we
here.
all- we have
I'm
to
not
learn.
here to look down on people because
Mhm.
again, I was one of them. I woke up at 42 broke, and I
Yeah.
made good money, and I was like, how in the world did this happen to me? Well, because I did the same like majority of us do. We never thought how to do it properly,
Right.
right? So, but the reality is, if you want to take accountability for it, why is it that some people doing it have it and some don't? The difference is, one of the differences is knowing what to do.
Right.
Obviously, the second thing is once you know what to do, actually do it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't. But really, the first part of it is just knowing what to do, right? And that's why I'm so passionate about providing that, because some people will take my advice and some don't, and
Yeah.
that's not my job to determine what people will do. My
Yeah,
job is to
just to
make
give
sure
it to
to
you.
bring it.
Yeah. So
And
what's
give
the
it to
first
you.
step in protecting your money?
So-
Once you've
Well,
once you've
the
learned
first
how to
step is
earn it.
learn how to make your money,
Yeah,
right? Obviously,
Well, I mean, in protecting it.
protect.
Once you've got it.
You have to protect it from taxation. So that's the first step, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure you obviously you protect it from storms. So let me take it back a notch. The very first step is build an emergency fund.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the biggest mistakes when we make when it comes to emergency funds is people say, I have so much that I'm going to save when I'm done with that.
Yeah.
And that is the wrong way to do it, because that's kind of saying like, I'm going to eat healthy when I lose the weight.
Yeah. But you gotta
or I'm going to
exercise.
I'm going to eat healthy and exercise when I lost the weight, when I'm skinny.
Yeah.
The reason you're going to lose the weight and you're skinny is because you're doing it, right? You're never going to happen. So the same way, there is a way to pay off your debt systematically, but also you have to start focusing on saving. Yeah. Saving that emergency fund.
So do you like go in and see where people are spending their money?
Yeah, so the first thing I do for somebody that's
like
interested in
some people might do Starbucks once a day.
You know, this is a misconception saying like, you know, if just because you have a Starbucks you're going to be broke. One Starbucks a day is not going to make you broke, because people talk about too much about the Starbucks once a day, but nobody talks about that they go spend $600 on a designer bag.
Well, I would think that
which you don't need. If you're not financially secure, you do not need. I promise you. Yeah. Right. But it's this immediate gratification, and I'm digressing here a little bit. It's not really directly related to finances, but I can understand why, because a lot of us, again, we don't heal our traumas, and it's tied to that. We don't heal our pain, and we think that if we buy that bag, it's going to make us feel better or happier, and it doesn't.
Well, that still goes to finances. I don't think you're digressing.
It is finances, but because also if people worked on their internal, they wouldn't have the need to go and spend the money on something that they don't actually need, right?
Because like if you're going through somebody and then you see that they bought a $600 bag, and they're like, well, you know, it made me feel better.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Okay, I kind of understand that.
Exactly.
But now let's, you know, feel better in your bank account.
That's why I say that in society in general, we have to focus on also personal or therapy, right? I would say to somebody, you know what, sweetheart, instead of spending $600 on a bag, spend it on a therapist.
Yeah.
Because that is going to be long-term value for you. Yeah. Right? It's kind of like, you know, give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or teach him how to fish and you're feeding for a lifetime, right? If you take that money and you work on yourself, that's going to benefit you for a lifetime of decisions. Yes. Better, hopefully. Yeah. Because buying a bag that we don't need and spending half of our paycheck on it is just a bad decision. Yeah. Yeah, especially if it's just a bad decision, right? Yeah, that's crazy. So everything can be broken down very systematically. There is an underlying reason, and it could be explained, right? It really just comes down to choices. Yes. But emotionally, we are so inadequate emotionally in this society that we make terrible choices because we make them from an emotional perspective, not logical perspective, right? And we're so tied to our emotions, which there is a place and time to be tied to our emotions, but in a lot of cases we need to be able to make good choices. Yeah. Right? That long term, they will serve us long term. So when somebody is broke or somebody is not doing well, it's very controversial, but I would say, again, I'm not going to talk about the exceptions, because every time I say these things, there's always somebody with an exceptional situation, right? Yeah. And that's probably true. Like my mom died, my dad died, my kid is sick. You know, there's just Yeah. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the majority. Yeah, just in general. In general, when people are struggling, and especially if you're struggling for like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, that's a habit now. Yeah, I believe that means you continuously making bad choices. Yeah. And you have to take a step back and ask yourself, what is it about me? Why am I keep making these bad choices? Yeah, that's going to lead you back to some And that goes to finances, that goes to relationships, to everything, but sticking to finances, right? So what I do when somebody just says, you know what, for ever since I can remember, I've been in debt, my parents have been in debt, blah, 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 I don't know, I'm behind on my retirement, I'm 43 years old, I'm 36 years old, I don't have a retirement fund, I have very little, or I just don't know how to get out of this thing, or whatever, or I went through a divorce, or whatever, right? Then the first thing I do is basically I do what we call a financial needs analysis, and I say, and it's again, I repeat, there's no charge for it, and there's no strings attached, right? Yeah. When we do it, when we're done with it, you know, then I come up with a plan for you. And if you'd like to take the plan and take it into consideration, to achieve your financial goals,
Yeah.
then I know 100%. I stand by every single plan I do. I stand 100% guaranteed by it.
Yeah.
If you do it, if you follow it, I know your financial situation will turn around.
Yeah. So you got like a formula?
I do have a formula.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first thing I do, I look at their cash flow, right? So cash flow, understanding the formula for cash flow is basically your income minus your expenses equals cash flow.
Right.
And a lot now expenses could be debt payment, other expenses, whatever. Point is everything that goes out, right? Money that comes in, money that goes out equals your cash flow.
Yeah.
And sometimes people tell me like, "Hey Liz, I don't have a cash flow." I'm like, you might have a negative cash flow, but I promise you, I promise you have a cash flow.
They have one,
right?
Yeah, it's just negative.
So the goal here is how do we turn this train wreck around, right? How do we turn this train? So then typically I try to help and work with them on how do we increase cash flow. We can increase cash flow by making sure we increase income, right? Or decrease expenses. Or ideally do both, right?
Yeah.
I don't focus a lot on decreasing expenses. I spend some time on it because it's finite. There is only so many expenses I can decrease. At one point, like food, shelter, gas, you cannot get rid of those. You need them, right?
Yeah.
So I do look a little bit if there is any kind of extra spending, but again, I don't make it the focus of the conversation. What I do focus on is helping people figuring out a way how we're going to increase your income.
Yeah.
Can you get a raise at your current job? Can you get a better promotion at your current job? Can you get a side hustle? Can you get a second stream of income, right? Can you get a skill?
Yeah.
Can you get a certification? Can you get a real estate license? Can you get a life insurance license? Can you get some kind of professional license that is going to allow you to create that 1099, right?
Increase.
That evenings, and you can do it evenings, weekends, you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
What can we do to increase? Do you have a hobby, right? I talk to people about that. Do you have a hobby? Do you have a passion for something? Is there a way that you can monetize it? Right? So I try to help people figuring out a way of how to increase that cash flow, right?
Yeah.
Then we look at their debt. If they have debt, again, if especially a lot of people have multiple credit card debt, right? Then I work out a plan for them where systematically I tell them exactly in which order to pay it off.
Okay.
Most people don't know that, and most people are eeny, meeny, miny, woe. I'm gonna send $100 extra to this card, and to this one extra 50, and this one next. And I promise you, you're not gonna pay off your debt that way.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have a plan and you have to have a system. So what I do, I have a software where I input all the information, right?
Yeah.
I input the information. I should probably put my shoes on because maybe it's inappropriate in the podcast, right?
I mean, they can't see your feet.
Oh, they can't see my feet? Okay, all right. So,
No, you're okay.
So basically I have a software where I input all the information, right? And then it gives us the right order in which, how do you want to approach paying off your debt? Number one, faster, because there's two elements. There's the element of time and there's the element of interest, right?
Yeah.
How much money you're gonna pay extra.
Oh, exactly.
So
and that's what really kills people.
So once I put it all in a system, then I will give you exactly the most optimal way to say this is in this order. You're gonna start paying. These are the payments you're gonna make, right?
Yeah.
To make sure you pay this off faster and pay less in interest, right? Then we're gonna look at your emergency fund, right? And if you don't, most people don't have one, right?
Yeah.
Most people have maybe an account. They might have 2-3 grand in their savings account, right? But that savings account is their extra savings, is their travel budget, is their emergency fund, is
everything
my car broke, like everything.
Yeah.
And I want you to think about,
so in case something
and it
happens.
has to be separated. Everything has to be separated. I have 9 accounts, checking accounts and savings accounts. Here is why. Think about your money. Think about like your closet, right? You have a closet. Doesn't matter, big or small. Doesn't matter. Most people, like in the closet, you never see somebody just taking all your clothes. You don't take all your clothes and just dump them in the middle of the closet. And then every morning when you wake up, you're like, maybe I'll just pick out a sock, and then maybe I'll pick out my underwear, or I'll pick out a shirt today. No. What you do, you're going to have a sock drawer, and you're going to have an underwear drawer, and you're going to have your skirts here, and your slacks here, right? Or your suits over there, or your workout gear over there, or your t-shirts over there, right? Or your button-down shirts separate, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because now you have a clear vision of understanding where you're at if you need to go buy more. Or am I low on blouses? Am I low? Did the zipper on my skirt broke? Like, do I need a new zipper or a new skirt, or a new slacks pants, or my jeans are all my jeans are like completely ripped or whatever. Maybe I need a new pair of jeans. But if everything is in one pile, you are never gonna have anything to wear. You're not gonna know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna know if you're low on anything.
Right.
You're not gonna know how you're doing.
Because you just got a pile.
You can't measure it, right? So when it comes to money, we have to know. We have to measure it. We have to know where we're at with it, right? So that's why I tell everybody. Then I help them figure out the different accounts or what they want to have, and one of them being an emergency fund. And I tell people your emergency fund cannot be part of your other savings.
Yeah.
Cannot.
Okay. Yeah.
It has to be a completely separate account, and it has to be used strictly there for emergencies. And typically people ask me like how much should I have or whatever, but I tell them as part of our analysis, you should have 3 to 6 months of expenses.
Okay.
Because you might have a $10,000 income a month and your expenses are $4,000.
Right.
If you lose your income, if something happens, you get sick, you get in an accident, something happens, you lose your job, you get laid off, your company goes bankrupt, whatever, million things could happen. Pandemic happens, right? Guess what? Your income goes away. Guess what doesn't go away?
Yeah, those bills.
Those bills.
Yeah.
Those bills don't go away, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
So I always focus more on have 3 to 6 months of expenses. The reason I start there, typically it's actually 6 to 12 months. But when I work with people, I don't want to go say to somebody, you need to have 12 months of your expenses. If their expenses is $4,000, that's 40 grand.
Yeah.
Most people have never even had $500 in one place at once.
Yeah.
How am I going to make you believe you're going to have 40 grand? And that demotivates people.
Right.
So
right.
when I do a financial plan, it's also a little bit of psychology.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want to show them that they can.
Right.
I want to make sure that I put it within reach, right? So I say, okay, this is what's recommended, 3 to 6 months of your expenses. And oftentimes, once I finish the financial needs analysis, I realize they probably just only have $10 left every month for an emergency fund. It doesn't matter because most of the time, the financial stress is not because of lack of income. It's because of bad habits.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's our habits. Whether savings or spending, you name it, it's habits. It's bad habits.
Yeah.
So I want to help you build up your saving habit.
Right. Okay. Make good habits with your money. Yeah.
So even if it's $10, I don't care.
Yeah.
If you're gonna allow me to help you put that aside every single month, after 5, 6, 7 months, you're gonna have money there, right?
Yeah.
Now you're already like, oh, I'm doing this. So now it's easier to increase it to 15. Easier to increase it to 20 or 50 or whatever the case might be, right?
Yeah, you start cutting out unnecessary.
Exactly. It's no
purchases.
different than any other habits. Like if you never had a habit to go, why do most New Year's resolutions fail? People buy a gym membership and they go for 3 days and they never go because they never built up the habit.
Yeah.
And we human beings, again, human nature plays such a big part of finances.
Yeah.
Well, human nature plays a big part in everything.
Yeah,
really,
pretty much.
Right,
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So then we look at the emergency fund, right? So those first 3 steps are kind of we establish status quo. Like I'm looking at where you're at right now.
Right.
And I always tell my clients, this is not a judgment call. I don't need you to keep telling me the reasons why you're here.
Yeah.
And judging yourself, how you made bad decisions. This isn't about that. This is about just understanding, because the first step of solving a problem is understanding the problem.
Right.
Right? You can't solve something that you're not aware of or you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So that's the status quo. And then the next 3 steps of the plan is the future.
Yeah.
Right?
That was gonna be my
So
next
I
question.
start asking you questions on your goals.
Okay. Yeah.
What are your goals? Everybody has different goals, right? And the goals, I break them up in 3 different categories. I go short term, which is about 1 to 3 years.
Okay.
I go midterms, which is about up to 10 years, like 3 to 10 years, and then long term, which is anything beyond 10 years, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Long term goals are typically, majority of the people is their retirement, right?
Yeah.
So or college savings for the children or whatever. Those are long term goals, right? But short term goals are like, I want to get out of debt. I need to buy a new car next year. I got to save up for a down payment, right? Midterm goals, short to midterm goals are, I want to buy a house.
Yeah.
I need to save up for the down payment or whatever. Then I also need to make sure I pay off my debt because now my credit score is bad and I need to raise my credit. So it's all connected. So you see how it's all connected? So I help people understanding, okay, I ask people, what are your goals?
Yeah.
Right? And then based on whatever they do, some people are like, well, I like to travel more. Okay, then I help them create a travel budget, separate.
Yeah, from all
separate from
stuff.
Everything else, right? Think the clothes in the closet.
Right. It's a different drawer now.
It has to be a different drawer, right? It has to be.
So that part is just kind of figure out what drawers you got to create.
Exactly.
First. Yeah.
So once you tell me your goals, then that I can help figure out the different types of drawers that we need to have, or buckets, if you will, right?
Okay.
So that's the first step. And then the second step is then we look at what your discretionary income is. Discretionary income means basically your income minus your expenses. It's kind of like your cash flow, also known as discretionary income, meaning it's the money that you get to do whatever you want to do with.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
whatever's left, right?
Yeah.
You get to spend it on whatever, if you're smart, you're going to save it and invest it, right?
Yeah, so that's the motivational part.
That's,
Yeah.
So I look at the discretionary income and then we figure out allocation. Like if your discretionary income is $1,000 and we decided that you have 5 buckets or 6 buckets, okay, then I help you rate them in order of priority.
Prioritize those.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna figure out how do we allocate $200 here, $50 here, 30, and then later, like let's say your debt is a lot and then has to go a lot of it to your debt, right? Obviously, let's say if within a year and a half I have to pay off your debt, then now we reallocate that money because the money, if you're sending to your debt $300 every month, and one day you paid off your debt, that $300 is now should go to your next goal.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be spent.
Yeah. Because like for me, I'm trying to my short-term goals right now is to pay off my house and car. But then also, while I'm making that my short-term goal, I'm also kind of getting myself in position to where I'm not paying this every month. Because now it's going to be like an extra set of money. That's not extra, but like, okay, so like once you're done,
so
you got the money.
If I may, so that's not 100% the right way to look at it, though, necessarily. You may or may not be, because it depends.
Well, I mean, I don't want to misappropriate that money.
First thing, what I would ask you, so you have to understand about money and investments that there is a cost to money, right?
Yes.
And you always have to understand it's just not, like paying off a house, most of the time is emotional. Because we were taught by society, somehow I'm going to have better pride if my house is paid off.
Yeah.
But it may not be smart financial decision.
Yeah.
It may not be. And I'll tell you why. It depends. Tell me how much is the interest rate on your mortgage?
I'm not exactly sure. I think I'd have to double check.
Okay.
Again.
So let me back up if I may, right? And I'm just going to use you as an example,
Yeah.
but your audience, can take,
I can be an example.
So number one, if anybody,
because I do need financial help.
If anybody wants to fix their finances, number one of first advice I would give you, you better make it your business to know your business.
Yeah. That's what somebody else told me. It's like, you got to know exactly.
If somebody comes to me and tells me, I want to get better financially, but they tell me they don't know the interest rate on their mortgage, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That tells me you're not serious about your finances. Yeah. Because the interest rate on your mortgage is your cost of money.
Yeah.
That's how much it's costing you to borrow that. You need to know what's costing you.
Yeah.
Right? Or interest rate on your credit cards. This is a big one. 99% of people do not know the interest rate on their credit cards.
Yeah. And they're usually high.
You have to know the interest rate on your credit cards.
Yeah.
What they are. Because if one credit card has like 4% and another one has 30%, then you definitely don't want to keep paying off the 4%.
Yeah.
You want to pay off that 30% faster, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're paying triple amount of money in interest.
Yeah.
It's costing you more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But if, let's say, the interest rate, so any loan, anybody has any loans, anything, you better know that interest rate of how much it's costing you to have that loan, right? Because that's money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
So now let's say that the interest rate, when did you get your mortgage, can I ask?
2018.
2018. Yeah. I will venture to say probably 3%.
I was going to say somewhere around that, but like what I did then was I figured out how much I needed to pay it off in 8 years. And so that's what I just started paying that much per month.
But if your interest rate is 3%,
Mm-hmm.
here is let me set up a scenario for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you have an extra $500 every month to pay towards your mortgage.
Yeah.
And you have your mortgage payment, but you're sending them plus 500 extra, right? Mm-hmm. You're saving 3%. Yeah. But if you take the 500 extra and you put it in a safe investment, it makes you 10%.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That means you want to take the 500 extra, invest it, make the 10%, take the 5, pay off the mortgage, or 3, pay off the mortgage, and you got to keep 7.
Yeah.
And that's how you build wealth.
Yeah.
That's what wealthy people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But regular folks, the reason why they never build wealth, because they want to pay off the mortgage.
Yeah. Well, and then they don't know about the investments either,
exactly, because nobody teaches us.
Right,
so this is what I do.
Yeah.
So I tell somebody, if your mortgage is higher than the investment potential, then yes, pay your mortgage.
Yeah.
But if your mortgage is way lower than your investment potential, then you are not doing yourself a favor by taking, because you are losing a lot more than you're saving.
Right, right.
Then you want to keep that loan. Plus, here is another thing, especially when it comes to mortgages, which is what people don't know, that actually the interest rate on your mortgage is tax deductible.
Ah.
So for you to have a tax,
you to know that part.
Exactly. Well, most people do taxes, right? They do their taxes every year. Again, people don't take the time to understand the taxes.
Yeah, yeah.
I just give it to my tax account. I don't know. Well, you should know.
You should, yeah.
Because it's your money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why you don't have money, because you don't care about your money.
Right, right.
Or people.
Serious about it.
Another thing, and sometimes I say that, and I try to say it with as much kindness as I can, because sometimes we need to hear it.
Yeah.
Right. Even I had to hear something that I didn't like. Somebody had to care enough about me to have to say, Liz, listen up. Like, this is not, like, you're not doing it, right? Like, this is not helping you, girl, right? This is what you need to do, right? So when I sit with my clients, I tell them all the time, I will tell them no matter what, even things they don't want to hear. Because I tell them that I care enough about them to tell them the things they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Because most people are going to be like, I don't want confrontation. I'm not even going to tell her because she's going to be mad at me. Well, you know what? If you really care about the person, you have to tell them.
Yeah. And they have to open up so that
Because true caring comes in where you have to sit down the person and say, this isn't serving you.
Yeah.
The decisions you're making are not serving you. Whether in a relationship, financially, job-wise, health-wise, whatever, right? So you have to care enough. It's kind of like a parent-child, right?
Yeah.
No matter how much your child is going to rebel against you, when you know they are making bad choices, you're going to sit them down and you're going to say, sweetheart, this is not right for you.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely got to
right?
tell them.
So why is it that us as friends or us as professionals don't care enough about each other to also tell each other the things that we don't want to hear sometimes? Yeah. And I'm not saying that with arguments and make the person feel bad or make them feel wrong.
No, it's out of a genuine place of
create
love.
A safe space of understanding and kindness and hey, Devon, let me paint to you a different scenario of you paying off your mortgage. You spending the extra $500 on your mortgage doesn't serve you, and let me tell you why, and this is why.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I can run the numbers and I can show you, if you pay off your mortgage, maybe on the long run, maybe you saved yourself $15,000 on the long run. But if you take the money and invest it in the long run, now you made yourself $50K.
Yeah. See, like, I'm not opposed to investments.
Right.
I just
you're
invest
not.
in
I'm
myself,
just talking
like,
generally speaking about people, right? So a lot of times people don't know. So when people come to me, I sit down and now will they take it or not take it? Again, it's not me. It's not on me, and I don't take it personally. They don't. I already know that they're gonna lose. I already know they're not gonna win, right? But at the end of the day, it's not my job to change people. My job is to give them the information, right? Yeah. And I tell them, you know what? If later this doesn't work for you, come back anytime. The door is open. I'm not gonna take it, personally, because you gotta allow people that space.
And you would still do that for them for free for the second time?
I would still do it.
So why do you choose to do your business for free?
Well,
it seems like a lot of time.
Well,
and effort
once
and
we
energy
do,
for you.
once we do, I do get commissions. So once we do your financial plan and we figure out like. You might need a Roth IRA or an IRA, or you might need a car saving for your kid, or you might need a life insurance policy, or you might need because that's part of financial planning, by the
Yeah,
way, right?
life insurance.
Life insurance is
big,
very,
yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
But life insurance is very confusing.
Yes. Yes.
Most
it
people
is.
don't understand it because it has a lot of different aspects to it.
Yeah.
So what I do, again, first I sit them down and I educate them. Because I'm a broker, I represent over 100 companies.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not loyal to neither company.
Yeah.
Right?
Like a contractor.
I am
kinda-
a broker.
So
I am an
so-
independent
yeah,
agent,
I got
right?
you, I know.
So I'm appointed with them. I can offer their products, but I don't work for them.
Yeah. Right.
Makes
right.
sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not loyal to the companies. It could be Fidelity, could be Nationwide, could be Prudential.
But you'll
could
put
be,
the person with the best fit
I
for
work
them.
for you, the client.
Right.
I am loyal to
you.
you
Yeah.
because my agency is an independent agency and I'm in it for the long run. And I build my agency not with Fidelity. I build my agency with my client.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
my
No, I
number
understand where
one,
you're coming
that's why it's sometimes a little bit challenging. There are a lot of other agents out there, but they work for one company
from.
directly. I guarantee you they are loyal to the company.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the
'Cause,
product.
yeah, my partner Vic, he sells insurance too.
Okay.
So
What company is she with?
I forgot the name. He started at Prime America,
Okay.
but he's branched off and he's kind of like an individual broker.
Okay.
But he has people under him too that works.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I typically have two sides to me. Like I help people with their finances, and then I also offer a business opportunity. But
Yeah.
typically, I always focus first on as a client, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just want to be clients, right? But some people are interested, and when I do the financial plan for somebody, and I see that might be, because when I talk about that increasing your income, I ask them, what are your interests?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What are your passions? What area? What side hustle would you like to do? And sometimes people tell me, like, I'm looking for a commission, or I'm looking for this, or I don't know what I could do part-time, or what I could do. And then now I see that there is an interest, then I schedule a separate appointment, and I say, well, let's schedule 30 minutes and let me share with you about what we do. And again, I just come to, it is a recruiting type, but I don't recruit for the sake of recruiting. Because if somebody comes on my team and if they don't get their license and they don't make money, I have zero interest. I make no money on just recruiting, right?
Yeah.
I have to help a person help themselves and make money, and then I have some benefit out of it, right? Because I'm building an agency, right? And any agency, any business, if you're building a business, right, your employees are gonna make money, but ultimately you're gonna make money.
Yeah.
It's your business gonna, So for me, my agents are not employees; they are independent agents. They're gonna make money, but I will also have some benefit, a little bit of override. Because I'm the one who provides the training, I'm the one who provides the development, I provide the office, I provide the environment, I provide all of it to help them be successful.
Yeah, and you should be compensated.
So I should be compensated for that, makes sense? But it's not out of their slice of pie, so to speak. It's an override on top of it. But my point is, I want to have a big agency because long run, any business you have, Devon, whether it's your tattoo business or whatever, doesn't matter. One person alone you're not gonna build a successful business.
Yeah.
You need a team.
Yeah, you definitely need a team.
You need a team.
Yeah.
I don't care what industry or what business. And my interest is not to be a solopreneur for the rest of my life. My interest is to build a business.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and that's why I want to build an agency. But a lot of agents are not, and that's okay. So if somebody comes on my team and they are an agent and they say, Liz, no, thank you, I don't want to have agents. I don't want to build I just want to do my own thing and I want to, sell or do financial planning. Fine. A person can make a few more dollars and I'm good with that. Okay, great. Then I leave you. You can do that, right? So it doesn't. Not everybody's for it.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody on my team that doesn't want to be there, and I don't want anybody doing something they don't want to do. Yeah. My intention is to help you do what you want to do so you're happy. So you can build whatever you want to build in your life, right?
Yeah, I'm big on that. I don't like forcing people to do things.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't come out right.
It never works. And not only that, they bring down the rest of the team. It's bad. It's just bad for everybody.
Bad energy.
And I'm not in the business of forcing people. I'm not in the business of convincing people. I'm not in that business. I'm just looking for people that are looking for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
There's a lot of people out there who are looking for me or something like that. So that's what I want. I'm like, are you interested, Divine? No, thank you. I'm interested in tattoo. Oh, great. Yeah. If you know someone, keep me in mind.
Yeah.
Oh, Divan, are you interested? Yes, I am. Okay, great. You go here. Oh, Divan, are you interested? No, I'm not. Okay, you go here.
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
And hey, you can I help you with a financial plan? Your finance says, yes, I love that. Okay, great. You're going to be a client. I'm going to help you. I'm going to love you from the distance, but I'm going to go here and I'm going to build my agent.
Yeah, because you
that
have
make
to.
sense?
Yeah,
And
because
it's
that's
no
like
hard
your
feel.
personal baby.
Exactly, because that's my
feeding
business,
that
right?
so that
And
it can grow.
but I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not in a business to convince anybody of anything.
Yeah, no, there's no
Right?
time for that. Like
No time for
a lot
that.
of people know. Like you're gonna
So-
know pretty much if this is for you or not.
It-
I've thought about getting insurance,
Yeah.
like to sell and be an
Yeah,
agent,
sure.
because like personally, I was in a motorcycle accident,
Okay.
and so like I didn't have like life insurance, and then the lady didn't. She had a like $25,000 policy. So like after the lawyers and the doctors, I got like 7,000, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. So, but just after that, like I've been looking into life insurance because it's really big, and it's confusing too.
It is.
But like the more I learn, it's like I think I could sign up a lot of people because it's like for like our area, if you tell them how much it's worth and how much they'll pay, it makes more sense. But then like when you start putting in all the other layers to it and stuff like that's when people get confused and kind of turn away.
Well, the way
So how
I
do you
would
simplify life insurance?
the way
for
I
people?
simplify life insurance, I never start by telling you what options are there.
Yeah,
I always start by asking you what do you need.
right.
What purpose should it serve? You as an agent, you should never want to sell anything that the client doesn't need.
Yeah,
That's unethical.
yeah.
I am very big on my team, and the way I work, there's zero tolerance for anything that's unethical.
Yeah.
Zero.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
We always do what's right. It's so many times I spend 3 hours with a client and I barely close them on a $20 a month policy, and I make very little on it. There's not a lot of commission on it.
Yeah.
But the client might just need that.
Yeah, but see, like to me,
You
that's
have to do
what I
what's
would
right
promote
for
to
the
people.
person.
Yeah,
So what I ask, life insurance should serve a purpose.
yeah,
A Roth IRA should serve a purpose. College saving fund should serve a purpose. A cash, emergency fund checking account should serve a purpose. We have these things because they serve a purpose for our
Right.
life, right? So depend on the person. Do you, let's say, if you, there's maybe just a simple term policy that you want, right? Well, what's the purpose? Well, I am a construction worker. I am married. I have 3 little children. I have a lot of debt. My wife and I own the debt together. I have a mortgage. My children don't have college savings, right? And I have a high-risk job, right? If something happened to me, my kids and my wife are on the streets. Okay, great. Then the purpose of your life insurance should serve you the purpose of protection, right? Death benefit.
Yeah.
If you died in the next 20 years or 30 years while your children are growing up, making sure that the house is paid off, making sure the debt can be paid off, because if you and your wife own it together, if you die, she still has to pay it. Right?
Yeah.
So, and making sure the kids can go to, if something happened to you, making sure your kids can go to school if you want them to, if you're no longer around, right? Then that's the purpose of it. And you don't have a lot of discretionary income, you don't have a lot of money left at the end of the day, right? Then I absolutely 100% I'm going to try to get you the most coverage for the least amount of money. Right? $20 a month or something, a 20-year term or something for $300,000, $200,000. It depends. We're going to look at what your mortgage is. It depends. We're going to look at how much money needs to be covered if you died. Then that's your death benefit. A lot of agents, they sell people like, you need to get $1 million cover. Do you though?
Nah.
No, it depends. Like, again, it comes back to like what the purpose is. Now, if you just want to know that, like, I have $1 million policies because I can't save up $1 million in a bank, but if I die, I can spend a couple $100 for it every month. I can afford that. But if I die, I wanted to do it purposely because I want my children to be instant millionaires when I die. So that's generational wealth, right? That changing the cycle, breaking the cycle of poverty, right? So I wanted to take, but I'm not married or whatever. So again, what you want, it has to serve that purpose, right? But some guy, but also if a guy is like 40, $1 million policy might cost him $150. And if the guy only
bad.
has 20, it's not bad, but that's not the question.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is, what can he afford?
Right, what can he afford? Right.
That's the point. It's always the client in mind. And that's what most agents don't do, and that kind of a little bit frustrates me about my industry, because it's always about the product. They focus on, this is a great product. Look, it's only $100.
Well, that's
it's
focusing
irrelevant.
on their commission
it's irrelevant.
at that point.
Is that serves the purpose of the client? You have to know what is the purpose. Now, there's something called cash value life insurance. Now, if somebody just young and wants to build long-term wealth, somebody wants to learn how to get away from taxes, somebody is not a savvy investor and wants to balance their portfolio, making sure that you protect your money from losses, right? It's that kind of money is invested in index funds, and you can combine it with the life insurance, and it's a fantastic program. All of the programs are fantastic. The question is not whether they are good or bad.
What can you afford?
What can you afford and what you need. The only question is, what's your goal with it? Does that make sense? So I think in our industry, that's what every agent, but unfortunately, most agents don't do it, because most agents work for a captive agency, and the agency might have one or two products, and the agents are trained to sell the product. And it just so happens, occasionally it might be the right thing for the client, and a lot of times it's not.
And it's not,
Or the client might have other options. But if that company only has those 2 or 3, right? Think about it this way. Like, if you want to buy a lawnmower, right? How many different types of lawnmowers are there? A million.
Millions,
right? But they're all lawnmowers, right? They cut grass, essentially, but there's a million different types, right? Now, you can go to Lowe's, and you can have, like, 10 different brands, different types, and you can choose what you want, what you think is best for you, whatever price range is best for you, whatever it is. Or if you just went to the Honda store, they only sell Honda.
Right.
Now, if you went to the Honda store and they only sell Honda lawnmowers, what do you think the Honda salespeople are going to do? Are going to try to sell you a Caterpillar lawnmower? No,
they can only sell.
Are they going to tell you that the John Deere lawnmowers are better? No.
That wouldn't be in their best interest.
Now, it just so happens that the Honda one might be the best kind for you with the best price, but a lot of times it's not. It might not be. But if you talk to the Honda guy, he's only gonna try to convince you that the Honda lawnmower is the best and it's exactly what you need. Makes sense? Which is why I always encourage everybody. Obviously, number one, I encourage everybody to talk to me. But if you can't get in touch with me or don't talk to me, although I'm everywhere, I'm very transparent. If you Google Liz Todorovich, you will find me.
Well, since you're on that right now, would you like to tell the people where they can find you?
Yes.
Or give your information for everybody?
Absolutely. So, I'm on Instagram, Liz Todorovich. I am on Facebook, Liz Todorovich.
You might have to spell it for everybody. You spell your name out.
Liz Todorovic.
Okay.
But also my cell phone number. This is my personal cell phone number. It's also, if you find me on Instagram, my email is there. My email is liztodorovich@gmail.com. Again, I made it specifically very simple and easy so people can remember it.
So that's all on your Instagram.
It's all on my Instagram also,
that's
right?
Good.
And we do have a website, legacywealth.com, but right now it's under construction, so I'm very careful not giving it out. Because we are changing a lot of different things, and personally, I would never want somebody to go to a website and it's nothing there, because it's going to turn them off, right? And it's going to be like, well, this is not right. It's right. I promise everybody, I'm a legit business. It's just right now our website is under construction.
Yeah, but like you just said, you got into it about 6 years ago, so like your growth and development in the financial industry is actually amazing. Yeah, and you've got a lot of knowledge obtained since then,
these are all the things that you need to learn. So basically, again, going back to like the financial plan, I focus on understanding what your goals are, and then I can educate you on what accounts you should put it in, because understanding how to save from taxation, like should you have a 401k, should you have an IRA, a Roth IRA, all of the above, none of, like, I don't know. Again, if I asked you, Devon, tell me what's the difference between a 401k and an IRA? Could you tell me?
No.
You couldn't.
No,
or
I can't
a Roth
tell you
IRA,
right
you couldn't, right? So again, I educate.
Hopefully, after talking to you some more and learning in the future, I will be able to.
100%.
No problem.
And I educate people. Again, I educate them. And what I do, I think what differentiates me in the industry from other agents is that, well, number one, I don't charge for the service. But there are other agents also who don't charge. But number two is that I'm a broker, that I have a buffet, so I don't represent a company, I represent you, the client.
Yeah, we can get the best
And I'm
deal
not
for the
loyal to
person.
any other companies, right? Number three is really also that I break down very complicated financial concepts. I break it down in simple, easy to understand concepts.
Yeah.
Because I don't care how smart you are. That doesn't mean I don't think you're smart.
Yeah.
I just still want you to understand.
No, I like simplifying things.
I love simplifying
One
things.
plus one.
And majority of people love the simple things, right?
Yeah.
A majority of people, 80% of people who are paycheck to paycheck who need our help,
Mm-hmm.
those are the people who are gonna want to know it simply.
Yeah, that's the
right?
that's the people that I really.
And by the way,
for.
you'd be surprised. I tell everybody, don't.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people don't reach out to me because they're embarrassed.
Yeah, it's.
I tell everybody,
especially like Instagram and social media. You see people, and like I've literally seen someone grab someone's purse and take a picture and post it real quick, like like it's crazy these days.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just to make it look like you have what you don't.
But people are embarrassed about their financial situation. But I always encourage people, think about it like if you're not well or you're not feeling well, whatever it is, you're not gonna be embarrassed. Go to the doctor because the doctor's the one who needs to help you, who's gonna help you, right, to get better, right?
Yeah.
So with me, I've seen them all, right, and I'm not judging anybody, right? My job is not to judge. My job is to help you, educate you, and help you turn your train wreck around, right?
Yeah.
So that your future you, because today, every decision we make today, Devon, financially, right? It's basically saying, I love my future self enough to say today I'm going to say no to this expense so my future self can be better off. Or, you know what, I don't really care about my future self because I want it today.
Right. We living for the moment.
I just want it. I'm going to go on this trip. It's on the credit cards, and I don't have a penny to my name, but I'm going to go to Cancun and woohoo, girls weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Your future self is going to suffer. So you're really, really not hurting me or somebody else. You're hurting yourself in the future.
Yeah.
So don't do that to yourself, right? But if it's a little delayed gratification, right, you actually can end up being financially secure and also having the trips and also having the good life, right?
Yeah.
And I know this is the biggest thing that I just want to get across here. We have all these things that we learn from our parents or society that are absolutely just utter nonsense. Like money is not everything.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Does that mean you don't want to make more money? You're not interested? You don't want to save? You don't want to go back to school? You don't want to get a better job? You're not, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's just, money's not everything. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's just, it means
well,
nothing.
It can't replace the loved ones that you have.
And nobody said that should.
Yeah. To me,
but
that's
that's not the conversation, though.
Yeah, because when they say it in context.
But people, that's not what they use it for.
No, they use
people
it
use
because
it for
you
like,
make more than
I'm gonna go and spend money because money's not everything.
Yeah.
That's why they use it for usually. Well, but here's the thing, sweetheart. Neither is poverty.
Yeah.
Money doesn't money doesn't buy happiness. True. Neither does suffering.
Yeah.
Does poverty buy happiness?
Oh no, you're not gonna be happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's leave these things out. This is not about whether money brings you happiness, because I can tell you what money does. Money is a tool.
Yeah.
And money solves problems.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, 90% of the world's problems can be solved with money.
Yeah. And we got enough.
But let's not go to the world's problem. Let's just go to you, like me, my family, your friend's family, your sister, your brother, your whatever, right? I promise you, every single people in your circle, if they had a little bit more money, they could solve some problems in their family. I promise you that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So then the whole idea is why money is actually a tool. And if we only did differently, or we were willing to work a little bit harder, we were willing to hustle a little bit, we were willing to change ourselves a little bit, we could figure out a way to make more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been broke. I was literally on the streets. I was homeless, and I built a life, right? And then I lost it all. Guess what? And then I built it again, right? You can. In America, we can. And if you don't know how, you can figure out how. Right? Or you can try, or there's ways, right? So what I always tell everybody, the worst thing to do is watch your mom or dad or whatever, somebody loved one, where they're not getting the medical care they need because of money.
Oh yeah, that's the toughest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So honestly, to tell you, I will challenge anybody to say, because if I really wanted to debate you and prove you that money actually can buy happiness, I can.
Yeah.
Because if you have a child in whatever other country or even in America, and your child is sick, and if you could make your child healthy, wouldn't that make you happy?
Oh yeah.
But if money can buy the medical care that could make your child well, wouldn't that make you
it's
happy?
Gonna have to take some money.
So did I just prove
the
you that
not
money?
doing that for free.
Did I just prove you that money buys you happiness?
Yeah, we all know the doctor's not gonna fix you for free in this country.
So my point is, let's leave this vague debate out where it leads nowhere. It means nothing. Yeah. Let's just focus on okay. And I don't debate people. Like, if somebody really doesn't care that they don't have more and they just have a little bit and they're okay with it, then they never. Then that's not my audience.
Yeah,
I'm not talking to those.
Like the question I ask people, like, if I gave you a blank check, what would you put on it?
Yeah.
You could put any number you want.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be surprised at some people's answers. Like, I've heard people say 100, 500.
Yeah.
And it's like, why that low? You can put any number.
Yeah.
And then my guy Idris, he's like, can I put infinity? I guess so. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
But I like that one.
Yeah. The bank doesn't know how to cash it, but
no, you can't cash that one.
You can't cash that one.
But that's what he said. So I was like, that's a good one. That was interesting.
Yeah.
So like I've talked to people with those extremes.
It's a mindset, right?
It's a mindset, exactly.
And I always encourage, when I do their financial planning, again, along the financial plan, I give them the tools and I educate them. Okay, this account does this for you. This account will do this for you. This is how you're going to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
This is how you need to get away from it. This is how you reduce your tax liability. This is how you increase options. I also always want to give people options, right?
Yeah.
I explain to them, like, talk to them about their interest rate thing, right? Of what's worth what. If your mortgage is 3%, I promise you shouldn't want to pay off your mortgage. You should not, right? You should take the extra money and invest it into something else or fund your future. If you don't have a retirement account and you're 30 or plus, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
I promise you that. And then that's another thing. People tell me I love my children more than anything. The best thing you can do for your children is don't be an old broke person.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is have some money.
The best thing you can do for your children, because who do you think you're burdening with?
Yeah.
Your kids.
Yeah, because even like right now, my kids are gymnastics and basketball, but that brings them both so much happiness and satisfaction. Like, I gotta pay for that.
Yeah, you gotta pay for that, but you have to, first and foremost, you have to fund yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't fund your retirement, and people think, oh, just this year and next year I'll have more money. Oh, but if you've been saying that for 10 years and you don't have a result, trust me, it's not going to be different. Yeah. Because for something to change, something has to change.
Yeah.
So if I've been doing it for years and the result is not different, like Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting somehow it's going to be different. Sweetheart, it's not going to be different if you're not doing something different.
Yeah, you change, you're
right?
not changing nothing.
If you've been thinking for the past 10 years, whatever you're doing, that next year will be more, I'll make more money, and yet you still didn't, it's time to just draw a line in the sand and say, I got to start saving and investing. I got it. And when I do make the more money, then I can have those other things I want. Then guess what? You just, because I tell,
you come back and reevaluate.
Yeah, because I tell you, like, a lot of people they building a business and they have so much faith, and that's fantastic. They have faith in their business, but I tell them, you still have to fund your retirement, even if it's just $150 or $200. You still have to do it, because here is the thing: if in 20 years you will end up having $1 million in your retirement fund, and you also built a successful business, you just gonna have more money.
Yeah.
But if for whatever reason that successful business, for whatever reason, doesn't come together, at least you have your retirement fund, right? I have never met a person who said, I saved, I funded my retirement, and I also built a successful business, and now I have too much money.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, I wish I would not have put the money in there. I never heard a person say that.
Yeah, no, because it's there.
You just have more money.
Yeah, that's a key point from The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah.
Have you read that book?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so that's a key point. Because they tell you, like, once you start saving, it gets to a point where it's like, oh, I got a lot of money. And at that point, a lot of people, it's very hard to stop and keep saving. They like to take it out and start.
Especially when they're younger.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
When we're young, we think we're invincible and immortal.
Yeah, and we're going to make it back again.
And we're not.
Yeah, no.
You will be old and frail
hits,
and sick.
Yeah, life
someday,
always hits at some point.
Right? Or something else happens. And when I do their financial plan, I actually show them with the money they have, not extra money. I actually show them, hey, with the money you have, if we allocate it this way, you're able to kind of have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You can start funding your retirement, and you can also start funding that emergency fund, and you can also start paying off your debt. And then if you really, really want to start saving up for the house, we can start building that bucket too.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just have the discipline to implement it.
Yeah.
Let me help you implement it. So it's not like I put these plans in place for people with money that they will make in the future. No, I start with what you have.
Yeah.
And I say to people, if you believe next year your business is going to make 6 figures, 7 figures, guess what? Then we can reallocate that, and you can put it in there.
Right, but right now,
you don't have the 6 figures in the future. This is what you have, sweetheart.
Yeah.
So let's start doing right choices with what you have.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for coming. This is very informative, very beautiful conversation. I hope a lot of people learned. I'm pretty sure they did. I mean, I don't think you can not learn right now from what you just told.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of information.
So, but
thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
yeah,
no
I appreciate it very much.
I look forward to you coming back on the show.
Anytime, of course. I can talk about relations. I also have a charity. If I could just plug my charity.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick.
You can plug everything that you need to plug.
Okay, it's really my charity. I'm very big in the charity world. Yeah. I'm on the board of directors of a charity called A Safe Place. It's a domestic violence agency out of Zion. I grew up with a lot of domestic violence. I was also in a very, very abusive relationship, so I'm a survivor myself. Okay. So this organization is very close to my heart. I've been on the board for almost 10 years now. And if you or anybody that feels that somebody, your loved one, might be in a situation, just please go to asafeplaceforhelp.org. asafeplaceforhelp.org. There's a ton of information on a website, and obviously, we have fundraisers. All the events are there, so your support is greatly appreciated, right? We have 5K runs. We have all these different events. But if anybody out there, you think that somebody might be in danger, just please go to the website and you find out the resources how to help your loved ones. Okay. So thank you.
All right, no problem. I'm doing closing. All right, thank you guys for tuning in to the Tattoo Room Unfiltered. I hope you guys live as long as you want and never want as long as you live. Plenty much love.
Great.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you. And then